so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to talk about the Espionage Act of 1917 and whether or not what the future of the act itself, and also Donald Trump's future with the potential violation of it. Please keep in mind these videos just for entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. I am not a lawyer. I don't have any sort of legal background. So anything I say in this video is just strictly for entertainment purposes only. So without further ado, let's jump into the video, shall we? This video is being recorded on August 17, 2022 at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here is the current news cycle on Google. Okay, you can see it's 106 right now. So let's begin. Now, everything is timestamped in the description below if you just want to jump around a specific question. This is going to be a continuing story. So as we start to head into September, October, expect more videos of Donald Trump to be coming out. Like I said, I will be focusing more on Donald Trump as he started to announce the 2024 presidential election 2 years ago. I did take a long time break from him, but he seems to be that he's coming back. So we are going to focus more on Donald Trump going forward. So anyway, without further ado, let's just begin. So here are some quick disclaimers on your screen right now. Feel free to pause the video to read them on your own time. Again, here are the disclaimers as well. And again, feel free to read. So now, before we quickly do begin, I do want to be able to educate you guys on the Espionage Act and be able to kind of give you some extra background information for questions you might have about the Espionage Act. So these are some things that I capitulated from the internet, so all credit goes to Google. What did the Espionage Act make illegal? Well, it enforced largely by A. Mitchell Palmer, the United States Attorney General under President Woodrow Wilson. The Espionage Act essentially made it a crime for any person to convey information intended to interfere with the United States Armed Forces, prosecution of the war effort, or to promote the success of a country's enemy. Right? Does the Espionage Act violate the First Amendment? The court held that the Espionage Act did not indeed violate the First Amendment rights and was an appropriate exercise of Congress' wartime authority. What is an example of espionage? Espionage is defined as the act of spying, or the use of spies by a government or company. An example of espionage is when a spy infiltrates the government of another country to learn valuable state secrets or information. How long can someone go to jail for espionage? It ranges from 3 to 10 to 15, 30 years, or even for life. It really depends on each specific case, especially when it comes to deal with a high-profile figure such as a president. No president has ever been convicted of the Espionage Act, at least to the extreme that Donald Trump may potentially face. So we will definitely see how that would go, especially if that was the case and Donald Trump did indeed get convicted. He will end up in jail. And he will be the first president in American history to end up in jail. So that would be very interesting to see how that's going to play out. It's very uncommon for American presidents to go to jail because people always believe that once they leave office, just let them be and just let the country be. But in this case, things might be changing. So we're going to see how that's going to play out for Donald Trump. The last time a president has been put in jail wasn't a Union president. It was more of a Confederate president. He was put in jail by Abraham Lincoln and was later on removed from jail because he felt that it would be very dangerous precedent for the country to have their own leader in jail. In the end, that kind of, sparked a little bit of tradition where we don't put politicians in jail, regardless if they did crime or not. So basically, Abraham Lincoln is that fault here for putting the pedestal so high for preventing political leaders from facing jail time. So, now, let's talk about the next question. Again, everything is timestamped in the description below if you want to just jump around. Republicans are calling for the repeal of the Espionage Act of 1917. Will they be successful? So, we're going to use the United States Terror Act and my Think Kipper deck, I kind of felt like I needed to kind of change from the original right away tarot. I felt like I wasn't resonating with it anymore. So I'm going to kind of take a break from that deck. All right, so Spirits and Angels tell me the Republicans are calling for the repeal of the Espionage of 1917. Oh my God, okay. I'm not used to using this deck, and it's like Chinese. So, all right, Spirits and Angels tell me Republicans are calling for the repeal of the Espionage Act of 1917. Will they be successful? Now, they're hoping to repeal it so that Donald Trump does not face prison, but we'll see. Okay. Final outcome card. I want to try to use 3 cards. That's my goal here, not use any more than 3. Okay. Okay, so we have the Prince of Cups. It had a purpose. It had a purpose of preventing the downfall of a certain country or a certain nation, which in this case is the United States. We had the Flying Phoenix, and we also have Robert Kennedy. Right, he's coming in with the white horse, kind of like a Prince Charming here, and you kind of see this thing flying towards the sky. And this is a flaming bird. This is the Phoenix. And so it's kind of really talking about the idea here that I don't know. I keep getting a hint of Arizona because Arizona does have a city named Phoenix, but it feels like in some way or some form that there's more information to be let out about why they are pushing this act to be repealed, because they are now probably scared. Now, this is just for hypothetical purposes only, right? And what I'm seeing is that they are now scared that this action that took place against Trump may happen to them because they indeed did, quote, commit the same thing. So, going into the middle card here, we have the Devil card. And the Devil card is kind of all about deception, the devil, the deceiver. You can kind of see it even written on the chair here, right? And what this is really talking about here is talking about the idea of trying to make it appear as if it was the government versus Trump. And that's really what the whole idea is around here. It's kind of like allowing him to get away with another crime because he's making the country believe in their own heart that they're going after him because they're an insinuate goal. The problem with Trump, though, is that Trump has so many baggages, but they have no choice but to go after him. It's almost like, like when you have a dog and the dog wants trees. Eventually, over time, the dog is the FBI, and the person giving the dog trees is the person, feeding them. That's the same thing. The FBI is the dog, and Trump is feeding them stuff, and that they are now almost like under his control. Almost like through the manipulation of some sort. We do have here on the right side here, will the Espionage of 1917 be repealed? I don't think it will, particularly because I do feel like in my own heart here, they don't have enough votes to be able to do it. We have the 9 of Pentacles here, and that is reversed. Now, this is kind of like something where it's calm and relaxed in a jungle, and there's a sense of security here. It is reversed, right? And what is kind of telling me that they don't have the votes at the moment to be able to repeal the Espionage Act of 1917, especially when the former president, is being investigated for such a crime. So to repeal that, it almost makes it a little bit suspicious. Well, what else are they hiding? We do have here underneath this card as well, we do have Abraham Lincoln, like I said, during the Union, right? We have 5 of Cups. This is it is a snake. Oh my God. It is a snake. Okay. The main point is it is a coincidence that this even showed up. And so what it's really talking about here is talking about the possibility of an uproar of some sort. But it is talking about here that there is a political division, but this is also a time for unity. Believe it or not, there's a unity that's being brought together. Potentially some Republicans will side with the Democrats and vice versa. So I would definitely look forward more to the future that it's going to be more bipartisan, which is going to be a really positive thing going forward. At the bottom of the deck here, we do have the 7 of Swords here. They're going to try to make it appear that he wasn't, again, just for entertainment purposes only, wasn't stealing information, but in fact he was. And look who's in the background, it's the Kremlin. Okay, if you don't know what the Kremlin is, that is the Russian government building. Okay. Will Trump be convicted of violating the Espionage Act of 1917? So we're going to take a look at that. Again, everything is time-stamped in the description below if you just want to jump around. Okay, Spiel Sanders was telling me, will Trump be convicted? Donald John Trump, the former president of the United States, will he be convicted of violating the Espionage Act of 1917 when the FBI raided his home for documents that were confidential? Will Trump be convicted of violating the Espionage Act of 1917? Okay. One more. Okay. I love how they just lay out the cards for me. It's just really cool. Okay. Will he be convicted? Huh. No. He will not. I said this many times, Donald Trump will never really get a chance to ever really face jail time. I've seen it on all my cards. It appears today that he will not face jail time. He may be convicted, but he will not face jail, according to what I see in the cards here. I get videos just for entertainment purposes only. I said this many times again, and I will say it again. I never saw Donald Trump in jail. I always saw him being convicted, but never in jail. And I do see that he never really goes to jail, not particularly because he avoided it, because death got to him before jail did. So we do have here the first card that came out with change. Right, will Donald Trump be convicted of violating the Espionage Act of 1917? We have change here, change of faith. Right, something coming that's brewing that's going to change the outcome of this investigation and maybe potentially more information in favor of Trump or against him. We do have here, it all has to do with his work ethic and the things that he did, not only as president, but as a very young adult, going all the way into his very late adulthood, particularly the age of today. So really what they're looking at now is not only what led to this moment of him becoming president, but all the things that he did in the past as a younger person and really find out who is Donald Trump really. And that's really what they're looking at in terms of the potential violation of the Espionage Act of 1917 is how far does this go? I feel like in some ways it goes beyond the presidency. We do have here underneath the 9 and the 38, we have the 11, which means sudden wealth, right? So really what they're looking at now with the casino, with Donald Trump's casino, is they're now taking a new perspective, a new look at it. Now, everybody knows that Donald Trump was a failed businessman, especially when it comes to casinos. However, what it is telling me here, there is now a change in perspective that that's maybe what Donald Trump wants you to think, that he just simply failed. But really now what they're really looking at now is that they're potentially investigating the potential idea that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't meant to succeed. It was meant to, be temporary. And what I'm seeing here, I'm not trying to accuse anybody, but it does feel like in some way or some form that what it is telling me is that there may be some sort of under thing going. So like how they have the pizza parlor and they have all these like different things going behind the pizza thing. So they have like a pizza place, but then there's a drug dealer or money being exchanged in the basement to kind of prevent people from really thinking and understanding what's going on. Similar to art, the best way to really transport money is really through the form of art, because art is easily able to have no price on it. You can't put a price on art, and because of that, it makes it very easy to funnel money, especially through the black market, through art. And in this case, I do see that also with the casino. So I do feel like in some way or some form, it wasn't that he was a failed businessman. It was because he was doing business dealing behind the front that he was showing people. We have here in the past, we have a distant horizon. Now we're asking, will Trump be be convicted of violating the Espionage Act of 1917, it looks almost certain that he will be convicted on the charges of the Espionage Act. And that is because we do have the chain. We do have the chain here and the anchor. And this is the chip flying. Now, the problem with the chip flying is that when they make this decision, Trump is already on his deathbed and he's already to go. He already made peace with death and is on his way out. That's the problem. But if you add the 3 and the 6 together, that's a 9. That means the end of a cycle. Donald Trump is at the end of his cycle. Right? So regardless of what happened, Donald Trump will most likely never go to jail. And if he was, he would die very soon after. Now, I'm not the really one to feel really comfortable with this, but this has been a very consistent thing that I've been seeing for years now on my channel with Donald Trump being in prison. And it's, again, confirming everything that I've been telling you guys in the past 2 years. So, in the future, though, we do have the pathway, right? And I was asking myself, okay, maybe potentially he gets out of this. Maybe he doesn't get convicted. That's at least what I thought. But it's not. That's not what this means. And I have to think in my head, I'm like, maybe it means death. Maybe he walked into the light. And so, we have the pathway here, but flies heading towards a lighter path. And I asked the cards in my head, what does this card mean? And this was what followed, the coffin. So, regardless of whatever the outcome is, Donald Trump will most likely never witness or be held fully accountable for his own actions. So, no, Donald Trump will not go to jail. At least if he was, he wouldn't be there long. So, at least we answered this question. If found guilty, will he go to jail or prison, and for how long? So now we know that he most likely won't be there for long, but we're going to take a look at a different perspective. What if we tap into an alternate reality where, that could be our reality, where Donald Trump is convicted, doesn't pass away? How long will he be in jail or in prison? And if so, for how long? So let's take a look. Let's use this. Spirit Sandals Tommy is found guilty. Donald John Trump, the former president of the United States, if he is found guilty of the Espionage Act of 1917, will he go to jail or prison, and for how long? I heard he wouldn't. We have the King Cup. By this point in time, Biden is no longer in office. Biden is gone. And we also have here is followed by the 5 of Pentacles, leaving, injured, sick, ill. This is both Donald Trump and Joe Biden, right? Now, you guys have heard me many times on the channel before where I said that Donald Trump and Joe Biden's future are instinctively tied together. If Donald Trump decides to run in 2024, so will Biden. If Donald Trump decides not to, Joe Biden will not be running again. And that is really what's key here, because I don't see Biden running without Donald Trump, and vice versa. If Trump goes, so will Biden. So the fate is almost intertwined together. Like we almost have the devil and the demon, and the devil and the angel together. Almost like they're soulmates in a way, if that makes any sense. But they're enemies, but they're soulmates. They're almost like they signed a soul contract. So we're looking at in another future about the soul contract between both Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Though, if found guilty, will he go to jail or prison, and if so, for how long? It has to do something with a 5 days, 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years max. There's not going to be a lot to it. But regardless of what it is, he won't last long there, even if he was to go. So, no, I don't see it. And also, Kamala Harris will not be president of the United States, at least under the Biden administration. I'll talk about that in another video. I did talk about that 2 years ago when she told me she does not want to be president. I will discuss that in another video. So we will actually, believe it or not, if you would ever have a woman president, the first one will be a Republican. Okay. At the FBI and angry mob. What's happening here? And do I need a separate video? So when I ask the tarot card to kind of see if I need another video to make a separate version of it, if it takes too long. So let's take a look. Spirit Angels, tell me about the FBI and the angry mob. What's happening here? Do I need to stop a video? And by angry mob, I'm talking about after Donald Trump and the FBI raid about the Espionage Act, the violation of that. What's happening with the Trump supporters? How are they feeling? Well, we have a lot of major economists here. I am going to use a different deck. We're going to use the second version of it, of the United States of Tarot. So we are going to shuffle that and see what it says. Okay. All right, Spirit Angels, tell me between the FBI and the angry mob, with the FBI waiting Donald Trump Mar-a-Lago's home for classified information, especially when potentially violating the Espionage Act of 1917. How are the angry mob and Trump supporters feeling? Will they take armed again, just like in January 6th? Okay, so here's what I do see. I do see something major happening, but it's not going to be what you think it is. So the first card here, let's just move the cards here away from each other just so it's easier for me to read. The first card that we have here is we have the Two of Cups. And that is kind of more about unionism, right? The Republicans and the Republican or nominated the FBI director. This is the one who, okayed the infiltration into Mar-a-Lago of Donald Trump's home. We do have here, but we do also have the idea of Blue Lives Matter. I don't know why that's coming through, but Blue Lives Matter is coming through. It is the hypocrisy of them saying Blue Lives Matter, but when it actually comes to them committing crimes, well, I guess your life don't matter anymore. That's really what it's saying. Is that it's almost like a front, right? We agree with you, we support you until you disagree with us. That's really what the information is telling me. So now we're asking about the angry mob and the FBI. I do feel like it's going to be kind of similar to the way Black Lives Matter movement was, where people rose up and protested. It's going to be very similar to that, where people were rioting and stuff like that, but it's going to be the exact opposite. Right? It's going to be against not police brutality in a way, but it's going to be against the FBI. So it's going to be a little bit different. Right? But again, please keep in mind that the difference between the Black Lives Matter and what to call it, the FBI, anti-FBI type movement, it's going to be, they're going to have, guns and stuff like that, and more like militia type, outfits and stuff like that. So do expect that to look more like martial law than the other one, or even like a revolution of some sort. We do have here in this card here, we do have the Wheel of Fortune, and that card is reversed. The time is starting to close. Not only for the FBI, but also for the country itself. The country is now entering a time period of crazy things happening. So anything that was thought to be impossible is going to happen. So, if something didn't happen that we never experienced or that we would have came close to experiencing, we are at that point in time where the possibility, the veil is open for any possibility to come through. It is followed by the Hermit card, which is all about darkness, but also finding that light, that middle ground. That is really what it's talking about here, is that the FBI really needs to come forward with why they did what they did and kind of really, really hone down on the information. Now, the FBI is not really known to be really trustworthy, especially when it comes to a lot of the things that they have done. So in a way, I can understand how the anti-FBI movement will come to fruition. I do see that potentially this may be the potential revelation of what happened with Jeff Kennedy and all those other politicians and other people as well, with the moon land and all those type of things. I would expect that, even like the potential secret experiments, scientific experiments, and all stuff like that, done by the FBI. A lot of people have trust issues. So please keep in mind that with this FBI movement came to fruition, just please note that if it was to happen, that a lot of those people may not be direct supporters of Trump. I just might be supporting an idea of removing or abolishing the FBI to get altogether because of the criminal history in the past. Again, this video is just to entertain purposes only. I'm not confirming or denying that they did indeed commit these things. Just saying. Okay, so we do also have here, we do have the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man here is talking about here, it is referring to the possibility of things being turned upside down. You know, things that were thought to be innocent and well taken care of. And by, I don't know what they were thinking. It really feels like in some way or some form, they originally thought that, okay, these Republicans will understand what they're doing and will support them if they understood what they were going in for. It turned out that that was not the case. I don't know what they were expecting. I mean, everybody knows that that wouldn't be true, but I guess they had some sort of hope in knowing that. I mean, also the fact that of all people raiding Mar-a-Lago's home, the one that you decide to, you know, have raid was the one with the most biggest untrustworthy organization in the country. That's really not the best method to go about that, but that's how they did it. We do have judgment. We do have people who are very angry, right? And they don't have a lot of good faith in the FBI in general. So I would definitely keep an eye on all this movement, and especially when it comes to people agreeing with the fact that, you know, they support the idea of raiding Trump's home, but they don't support the FBI in general. That is a common consensus based on what I've seen in the cards here. We do have here underneath the Two of Cups here, we do have the Star card. It is talking about liberty, right? A lot of what it means to be an American. And at this point, this is really a center stone here. This is really what it's talking about here. It's talking about what does it mean to be an American. And that is really what's going to be really key here, because going forward, this moment is going to mark the new era in American history. Regardless of how you want to realize that, whether you want to look at it or not, this is a moment of historically making. Whether we choose to go the right way or whether we choose to go the wrong way, whatever happens, it will be a defining moment for America. Whether we cease to exist or if we decide to persevere forward. We are followed by listening to the world. The world is watching, right? Will we do the right thing? Will we do the right thing? And we have the comment in the background. The comment is talking about strong energy, the strong pull to do the right thing. And this is really what it's talking about. The world is at its feet. Wherever America goes, so will the world. And that's really what it's talking about here, that America is very essential for humanity to survive. That America needs to become more positive, more uplifting, more loving. America is none of those things. It never follows through on this American dream. And that is the world. The world is waiting for that moment that the American dream becomes a reality. And it is being challenged by the Ace of Pentacles, which is the Vice Presidency house. This is the Vice President's house. It's reversed. I mean, sideways. This is a challenge. And what I see here is that there is potential protests outside of the DOJ's home, so Merrick Garland's home. I do see that here. I do see that there are going to be some protesting, even against the FBI headquarters, what's already been happening, by the way, because you have not been paying attention. Now we're asking about the FBI and NV mob and what's happening here. We do have the Princess of Cups, right? We do have the information. We have the information here. We have the person standing tall and just going through, even if things seem dark and dire. We do have the potential talks of uproot and everything, the potential of a tornado or something, a storm, a black storm coming. It's reversed right now, but tells me that the future is not yet determined. And however, that could change going forward. It could turn out to be another January 6th. Or it can easily simply turn into one of those failed movements to get people out of their house. The question is, what one will it be? And that is the future going forward. Now, again, this video is just for entertainment purposes only. Okay. So now the next thing that we're going to ask is the last question of this video is Merrick Garland versus Donald Trump. What is the outcome here? just kind of want to take a look. And maybe I'm feeling like maybe I should do a separate video for this for Merrick Garland and Donald Trump. I just kind of end the video here. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to end the video here and just kind of talk about Donald Trump and Merrick Garland in a separate video. I feel like that would be more significant going forward. I love you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe. And let me know in the comment section below what you think of today's video. Other than that, guys, I'll see you soon. And I love you. And thank you for watching. Bye.